that. These are troubled times.
So I understand. I suppose the bombing hasn't settled everyone.
Yeah, well, they didn't do too much for the price of real estate and land in the neighborhood. Did anyone see you come in?
No, I followed your directions. However, the next time you ask me to use the back stairs, I appreciate it if you can find a room on the floor lower than the 7th.
I've seen you on TV. I would assume that taking the stairs wouldn't do too much harm to you.
Well, television tends to make you look heavier. Besides, this body's in the finest sense of Southern tradition and ministry. Congregations will normally warm up to a thin preacher. It means those preachers aren't good enough to receive those sweet potato pies in lieu of other donations.
My congregation does sell pies from street to street. They may keep the people thin, but they keep the donations fat. Speaking of pies, Doctor, is that your lunch you got in the bag? Or is it a tape recorder in there?
Why would I need a tape recorder?
You may be a little nervous coming in and out of these hotel rooms. You know, Mr. Hoover does have a way of making people a little paranoid.
You know, I never thought the good Lord could make a mistake, but Mr. Hoover does push one faith beyond a reasonable limit.
Please, have a seat. I figured you wouldn't oppose to this since you're so used to doing sit-ins and such.
Well, I find it better for your back.
But not too good for your head, as I recall. I'm surprised you still have one with all of that non-violent action you've been involved in.
Well, you'd be surprised what you can take when the purpose is clear.
Or perhaps I believe some folks just naturally have hard heads.
I'm getting the direct impression I should be insulted.
Maybe it's my street accent. I don't have the advantage of university, so my words may come across as a little harsh.
You're too modest, Malcolm. I'm sure someone who was invited by Harvard is hard to be understood.
They didn't bring me there to lecture. They brought me there to be embarrassed. Unfortunately for them, I do not embarrass easy. And since Harvard didn't have anything that I wanted, I felt there was no need to apologize for not having it. Of course, there were ample amount of Negroes there that had an abundance of apologies, all saved up for the occasion.
Oh, and you see me as that kind of Negro?
No, but I do see you as being used by white folks, whether you intend to or not, while they will erect monuments to you before you are through.
I don't know. It seems the very mention of your name is out to get much attention. I mean, they may even name streets after you.
You get all the awards, Mark.
On behalf of those that collectively fight against injustice.
White folks gave you the award. Doesn't it bother you just a little bit that the same people that are doing all of the oppression are the ones giving out all of the awards? You must have impressed them the most when you said, if blood must flow in the street, let it be our blood. Hell, I bet every white was ready to buy you a drink in the South.
The award was for peace.
The award was for getting beaten and not fighting back.
You may want to sit down with us sometime and find out what fighting back is all about. Then maybe you could understand what I was saying.
You asking me to understand how a black man can ask his people to be the first, the last, the only ones to bleed?
Have you considered that you are more responsible for our people's blood flowing out there in the streets? That your speeches are causing violence?
No, not once, not ever. Aggression in the name of self-defense is not violence, it's honor.
There's no honor in war, Malcolm. No progress can come from violence.
Progress? You get the false respect because I was the alternative. They kill me first, then you have nothing to negotiate with. They kill you first, then they better not let me live. They'll make you into a martyr, Martin. They'll hold your non-violent message to the world as a testament to your courage. And if they hold it up long enough, they won't even realize the contradiction they have made to that message.
If I have to die so that my children would not have to suffer a spiritual death, I would do that. Jesus Christ gave that spirit a movement 2,000 years ago. Mahatma Gandhi gave it a method. To this day, black people will forge that spirit with that method and create weapons of love. We will live together as brothers, Malcolm, or we most certainly will perish as fools.
That is not a country out there, Martin. They stack families on top of families, black man on top of black man till there is no more room. And when there is no more room and we cannot breathe, we die. And then there are drugs. You pump enough dope into the black community, they'll dream anything. Hell, they'll even dream one of your dreams.
I will not change.
If you will not change, can you at least get angry?
You know, Malcolm, I remember when I led my first march and there was this huge white man that jumped out from the crowd. And with all of his might and all of his force, he yelled at the top of his voice, "Go home, you little nigger bastard." He was yelling at a child, Malcolm. Could have been any older than 7 or 8 years old. I saw that pain in that child's face and I just hurt. I felt fear, but most of all, I was ashamed. He must have thought he had done something terribly wrong to be the focus of all that hate. Yes, Malcolm, I can get angry. With all the history that makes me a black man, I can get angry. But you see, it's a different kind of anger. It's an anger that says you can't stop loving, you can't stop believing, and you can't stop trying. It's an anger that makes me want to prove hate wrong.
I just want to prove hate less powerful, Martin.
We both deal in power, Malcolm. We just do it differently.
You can only deal with power in one way.
Malcolm, you want to free blacks. I want to free America.
Can't you see what's happening to us? 5, 10 years from now, racists won't have to do anything to us. We'll be doing it to ourselves. So these brothers who sit peacefully in your demonstrations and allow their heads to be split open and they come back to their own communities and commit violent acts. It's the rage, it's the pain that is all built up inside of them. It makes them strike out. Now, I cannot free them from that rage, but I can direct it to the right source.
But don't we both want the same thing?
You want to be able to buy a cup of coffee, I want to sell it. You want us to integrate a coffee shop, I want us to own it. You want white folks to hire us, I want us to hire our own damn selves. We do not want the same things. You know, I'm afraid this quest for integration will wind up being the white man's solution for control.
And I suppose those of us that don't agree with your definition of power and control are the ones being called Uncle Toms?
I only refer to the old ones as Uncle, and I don't call them Toms anymore. I call them Roy, I call them Ralph, I call them Uncle White.
They don't deserve that from you, Malcolm. They don't deserve that from anyone. Do you think the unity that you're seeking can be achieved by insults and ridicule?
Have I ridiculed you, Reverend?
Oh, was I supposed to be flattered by the term Reverend Dr. Chicken Leg?
It was the Reverend Dr. Chicken Wing, to be exact. Or would you prefer that I just refer to you as the Lord?
The movement would have been enough. Malcolm, I came here to offer you my protection.
Your protection? How you gonna do that? You gonna have a mass sit-in and pray? Or maybe this non-violent action movement of yours is gonna scare off those Molotov cocktails?
Well, any of those Molotov cocktails were thrown there because of your own movement.
My movement does not ask for freedom, it takes.
Non-violence is the only way for proper healing to appear to the conscience of this country, Malcolm. I'm just offering you my protection. I offer you my help.
Yeah, help. You help to kill me.
Am I accused of that as well?
Not accused, indicted. This non-violent quest is gonna get everyone killed. And you wanna sit up here and talk about the conscience of this country? This country has no conscience. It has no morals, it has no morality, it has no honor. Hell, it doesn't even have a memory, it forgets. It doesn't want to remember, it forgets. But we will not allow it to forget the lies about it. So this country calls you a hero because you tell black folks in America to be non-violent, but you tell that same non-black person to be non-violent in Vietnam? Stop dropping them napalm on them little Vietnam babies, and they'll call you a traitor. They'll call you a coward. You cannot appeal to the conscience of a country like America. You're looking for kindness, you better look elsewhere. White man out there building artillery, and you telling black folks not to fight back? We refuse to defend ourselves. We not only make it easy for racists to kill us, but to make it justifiable.
You're telling me you think I've contributed to that?
Yes. Let me make you understand, Martin. If anyone is dead set to go out there and kill a black man, they won't ever have to consider the consequences of their actions. They won't ever have to worry what the good Reverend will do. They know what you'll do. Nothing. And that is what this whole movement of yours has created, Martin. Nothing.
Don't you ever tell me nothing was accomplished. Don't you ever tell me that people were beaten up for no reason at all. Do you think it's easy for me to sit there and watch that happen, Malcolm? To risk the lives of my own children? Malcolm, do you think I would risk my life for nothing? I don't want to die. I don't want to see our people die. I don't preach nonviolence because I like it. I preach it because it's right. Because I'm a man and a child of God. I mean, you look out there in the city, you see neon signs telling you where to go, what to do. When I was growing up, there were signs, all right. And they weren't neon. But if you were black, you can read those signs as clear as day that burned in your eyes saying for colored only. Signs that got into the psyche of little Negro children that were insulted and degraded on a constant and continuous basis. When those signs went down, the spirit of black people went up. So don't you dare tell me that nothing was accomplished. All right. I was in the church in Montgomery when the announcement came that those buses were no longer being segregated. What was accomplished was written on the faces of those that struggled. It said that you can make a change by sitting down. Those that thought that nothing was ever accomplished are those that have never had to give up their seat to a white man, or go to the back of the bus, or watch white patrons eat in the comfort of a restaurant, while you had to take your food outside in the cold of the rain. Don't you diminish what was accomplished, Malcolm. Don't you misunderstand what will be accomplished. Don't you mistake nonviolence with non-action. You do a disservice to those that were beaten so that you can have the freedom and the courage to question their courage.
I never questioned their courage, only their judgment.
Yeah, well, I'm questioning mine for coming here in the first place.
There's nothing stopping you. The same steps that led you in here are the same steps that will lead you out.
Well, at least we can agree on that.
Yes, we can. You have a pleasant trip home.
As you shall. Thank you for the lesson in unity.
And don't forget your lunch.
It's not mine, it's a gift.
A gift? What is this? Does it have magical powers or is it supposed to be non-violent like yourself?
It's not for you, Malcolm, it's for your daughter. My family and I were watching the news when the reports came on about the bombings. You were standing out on the lawn with one of your daughters.
$1.
Well, my daughter found out I was coming here tonight. She wanted to make sure Dollar had a friend. It's her favorite doll, and she loves it very much. If it has any magical qualities, I suppose it's because of that.
What's her name?
I don't think this one has one.
No, Martin, your daughter.
Bernice.
How old is she?
She's 9.
9. $1 is 6. She'll love it. But yeah, Martin, you tell Bernice we said thanks.
You know, Malcolm, when my home was bombed, I felt a great amount of fear. I knew it was a warning, but I also knew I couldn't turn back.
The bombing of my home was no warning.
Malcolm, why didn't you invite me here tonight?
You've never hated yourself, have you? You really can't imagine how someone who despises themselves views the world. I know what it's like to give up everything and love nothing. I was lucky enough to find something to believe in, something to love. And when you have that, you have to know when to protect yourselves from those who want you killed. But you have to be willing to fight first.
Malcolm, nonviolence is not a tool you use when it's just convenient. It's a way of life.
I hope you're right, Martin. For the sake of our children, I hope you're right.
Brother Malcolm, Mr. King's car is ready to take him back.
Thank you, Rashad. Martin, our car will be able to take you wherever you need to go. Please allow Rashad to help you with your coat.
Oh, it's fine. I can manage. Thank you.
Whenever you're ready, sir.
You know, Martin, we could have made a good team.
We do make a great team, Malcolm. Most people don't realize it.
We'll let them stay ignorant for just a little while longer.
Amen to that.
All praises to Allah.
Wow.
Brother Malcolm, will you need more time to exchange pleasantries with your new friend?
I'm ready when you are, Rashad.
Just for the record, I never meant to hurt you by anything I may have said publicly. It's very important to me that you know that.
It's important to me that you said that.
You know, I'm glad we got to climb one mountain together. Take care of yourself, Martin.
Goodbye, Malcolm.